2 weeks ago, I watched a Koshin's video about the problem with video games and theme parks, and I watched the video and didn't really find a problem in what he said at all. In fact, he even gave me one of the best ideas I have ever heard of, with Disney building a Wreck-It Ralph themed land of the classic arcade video games. Now that is not like a hardcore video game IP, but I actually loved that idea. Anyways, that video inspired me to give some of my own ideas about video games and theme parks, because to be honest, I think it is the future, and also I have been to Super Nintendo World, so that might mean something. Anyways, we have a lot of content to cover in this video, so let's get straight into it. First off, I would like to talk about the elephant in the room, and I already briefly mentioned it, this being Super Nintendo World. This Mario Land is, in my opinion, one of the greatest theme park lands in the world. It is amazing to me how there was remotely any skepticism surrounding this land upon opening, because it is just too good. I've been to the smaller version of the land in Hollywood, and I am planning on visiting the full version of it along with the Donkey Kong roller coaster this summer. Yes, that was supposed to be a surprise, and an announcement video is coming soon, probably next week. Anyways, I love Super Nintendo Land for one reason, and that is that the land is so interactive. Universal first introduced this style of land making through Harry Potter. It's here that they were able to build an immersive world, and the best part about it is that Disney didn't do is they made guests be able to interact with the world that they built. The wizarding world of Harry Potter has wands, and while I do agree that those are just cash grabs, it added to the environment of the land. This combined with immersive dining and attractions really sold it for me. Now, Super Nintendo World is a bit different than Harry Potter in the fact that it doesn't have all of the immersive dining abilities. There's no food from Mario that we could all eat and that would look good, but Universal did a great job at creating a world-class menu at the Toadstool Cafe. What did translate over, and what is more important, is that the world building is still there. Super Nintendo World is one of the most beautiful theme park lands in existence, and the interactiveness plays into it. By nature, video games are super interactive. They allow you to control some characters in another world, and translating that to theme parks is literally perfect. Universal does it so well, albeit with a bit of a price tag, but it's great for the park and for guests willing to play. Plus, you can still have fun in Mario Land without a wristband. It is possible. I love how interactive this land is, how you can go around and play with the numerous minigames and earn keys to fight Bowser Jr. It's actually a neat experience when you don't have to wait in a slow-moving 30-minute line for every minigame. Anyways, Mario Kart Bowser Challenge is also crazy good, and it really feels like you are in Mario Kart and racing a bunch of other people. The land itself ties all this together, and with small additions like power-up blocks, boy, you can't complain. So video games are interactive by nature, and theme parks can play into this interaction so easily. In fact, they have been in theme parks for decades. Shooting dark rides are literally just IRL video games. It proves that this concept can be translated very well into parks, and anyone arguing that they can't is just wrong. Another thing I want to mention is Super Mario World is not the only video game to be added into theme parks. We have two examples that can be applied to this subject, Uncharted and Tomb Raider. Both of these video games received rides in their respective parks. Uncharted at Port Aventura is an intimate multi-dimensional coaster that looks so cool. Tomb Raider was a success when it was at Paramount's King's Island, but it lost its right to the IP and everything went downhill from there. Another super small example is the Last of Us Haunted House at Hollywood Horror Nights. This isn't a major attraction, but it's worth mentioning. The one thing you have to take note of though for all these IPs is they did get turned into major TV shows or major movies. Uncharted and Tomb Raider both have feature films, and The Last of Us was a TV show. We'll come back to this topic in a hot second. Another thing to look at is future IP additions to theme parks. What's planned already is of course Super Nintendo World at Epic Universe and the Donkey Kong expansion in Japan. This proves that Super Nintendo World is a hit success for Universal and is widely popular. If you want even more proof, there's been hella talk about an expansion in Epic Universe themed to Luigi's Mansion. It's something that isn't even open yet and is receiving expansion rumors. That just proves how popular this is. Another thing that is planned with the Universal parks is the Pokémon ride at Universal Studios Japan. We don't know too much about this exact ride except that it's gonna replace Spider-Man, but knowing Universal, it's gonna be good. Depending on how successful Pokemon will be, I guarantee you it will be a smash hit, especially in Japan. We can really see the future of video games and theme parks. There's even talk about a Zelda edition at Islands of Adventure to replace Lost Continent, and that would be sick. Now let's talk about why video games are the future. We already said that it is really easy to adapt it into parks, but why? First off, video games are built off of world building, and adapting this into parks works. Even if you take a not so popular video game like Red Dead Redemption, it would translate so well into theme parks. By the way, I know Red Dead Redemption is really popular, but it doesn't have the name brand recognition of Pokemon, Zelda, or Mario. Even though not everyone will immediately connect with the IP, it will translate well enough to create an immersive experience, and that's all what you needed to do. I honestly feel like at this point, it's harder to adapt a movie than a video game. I feel like for movies, you're already pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Like before Disney made a Star Wars land, I would say that it would be virtually impossible to adapt Star Wars and do itself justice, but it somehow did. Dune is the only real argument against that because this needs a theme park land ASAP. Otherwise, a lot of movies are just flopping right now and you need an iconic series to really pull anything together. Video games are just easy to translate and have the audiences already built. And one really cool fact is that video games is the biggest part of the entertainment industry. In fact, you can add up the revenue from movies and music and it will still fall short to video games. That's absolutely crazy in my eyes. Before you get to the next segment, here's a quick plug for our Discord server. We are starting to do daily questions and trivia, or you could just talk to some fellow enthusiasts, including me. I'd love to see you all there, so please join the Discord, link in the description. My next huge point is younger generations play more video games than watch movies. Theming stuff to video games will have more draw than movies these days. I feel like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels have ruined the attention span of current generations to sit through any movie. I personally am a cinephile and love movies, but like I'm just saying, this generation of iPad kids is not looking so hot and it's our future. Making a Minecraft or Fortnite themed land, for example, would have all the pool in the world, and even if the video games aren't huge, you'll hit an audience of hardcore fans that will go and see virtually anything related to their game. So what are possible video game adaptations? Well, one thing to mention is that Disney recently bought out a huge share of Epic Games. This came as a huge surprise because most people feel as these two ideas don't blend well together. Of course, Disney can Disney-fy Fortnite and whatever other games they choose, but besides that, I have no idea what could come from this. If Disney somehow decides to build a Fortnite land, I mean, it would be very successful, but that is just not Disney, so I would rule this one out. The other huge options would be Minecraft and Halo. I think both of these games are big enough to have pull and could be translated into theme parks. Minecraft would be a little hard because of the pixelation and stuff, but Mario was able to do it very well. This combined with the fact that Minecraft is getting a movie, and you might be able to create a wildly popular land. Halo already has a TV show and would work so well with the land, so that is also on the market. The only other problem is no parks own the rights to these games, and I don't think they're going to purchase them anytime soon. So really for now, it's just going to be Nintendo and Universal, and we will see if Disney will match Universal in the competition to put video games into theme parks. About the point where no parks own the rights yet, it is actually quite a bit easier to get rights to video games over movies. This is because in the video game industry, indie creators can create a crazy popular video game, as in the case with something like Undertale. An indie creator would be a lot more open to giving up rights for a cool new theme park land than, for example, a movie like Dune, which poured over $300 million into to make its first 2 installations. Video games are just easier to get IPs for because it is the only industry where indie creators can really thrive. Of course, this may not apply to the huge games, but Undertale is just a great example of one of the many possibilities that this new idea presents itself in. So overall, after watching Krosnick's video, I don't see a major problem. The only minor issue is the lack of options to choose from, but like I said, Universal is dominating it with Nintendo, and Sonic and Sega could be a player somewhere, also Halo and Minecraft would fit perfectly, and even lesser known video games like Red Dead could translate so well and it would work without a huge pre-established fanbase. But if the issue is finding IPs, wouldn't that be a good thing? It won't become oversaturated and stale, and parks will make sure they are making the best decision and the best investment possible before doing anything too risky. Also, video games are so unique in what they do, so adaptations will only diversify a park's offering, and that's a huge win across the board. So no, I don't see a problem, and that's my TED Talk. That's all for today's video, guys. Let me know if you agree with my decisions in the comment section down below. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, join the Discord, link in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.